Social justice movements have made significant strides over the years, but they've also faced intense backlash and opposition, often turning violent. The road to change is rarely smooth, and the fight for equality has sometimes led to dangerous, deadly consequences. Today, we will explore the story of Jasmine Carter, a prominent LGBTQ+ rights activist, whose fight for equality led her into the crosshairs of those determined to stop her. Was the backlash just part of the job, or did it go too far? Jasmine Carter was a fierce advocate for LGBTQ+ rights in her city, known for her passionate speeches and tireless activism. She had been fighting for years, alongside many others, for a fairer world where everyone, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, could live without fear of discrimination. Jasmine's efforts were instrumental in the success of recent LGBTQ+ policies that had provided a platform for change. But not everyone was on board with the progress. In the dark corners of the internet and within certain political circles, her work, and the work of others in the social justice community, was seen as a threat. Some believed that social justice movements were pushing too hard, that activists like Jasmine were going too far, trying to change things too quickly. Jasmine had become a symbol of the overreach in activism, and she made enemies along the way. As Jasmine's influence grew, so did the opposition. Her emails were flooded with hate messages. Protesters lined the streets outside her office. Her friends and colleagues in the activist community began receiving threats. The situation escalated when a well-known conservative radio host launched a campaign calling for activists to be silenced. The message was clear: stop the movement or face the consequences. One morning, just weeks before a large rally in support of LGBTQ+ rights, Jasmine's apartment was broken into. The intruder left no signs of forced entry, and nothing of significant value was stolen, except for a small but crucial document: Jasmine's notebook filled with personal notes on upcoming projects and strategies. Her closest friend, Maya, had a bad feeling about it. Maya had seen the increasing threats and knew the pressure was mounting, but Jasmine was relentless in her resolve. She wouldn't back down. The day of the rally arrived, and Jasmine was nowhere to be found. Her phone was off, and she wasn't responding to any calls or messages. The rally went on, but there was a noticeable hole in the sea of activists. Panic started to spread among her supporters. Had she been arrested? Had she been silenced? The police were contacted immediately, but it wasn't until the next morning that the disturbing truth began to unfold. Jasmine's car was found abandoned on the outskirts of the city, near an industrial park. Inside, her personal belongings were scattered on the passenger seat, but there was no sign of Jasmine herself. The police investigation was swift, but it quickly became clear that this wasn't a simple missing persons case. Jasmine had been targeted. The signs were all there: the break-in, the stolen notebook, and now her mysterious disappearance. It wasn't just about silencing an activist. It was a threat to the movement itself. Chapter 4: The Crime Unravels. The case took a shocking turn when a hidden camera footage surfaced. It was grainy, but it was enough to show Jasmine being forced into a van late at night. The man who had taken her was wearing a mask, but the license plate of the vehicle was clearly visible. A tip led the police to Gregory Stone, a well-known anti-activist figure and a vocal opponent of the LGBTQ+ rights movement. His public statements had often targeted Jasmine and other activists. It turned out he had deep ties to a network of individuals who believed that the social justice movement was nothing but a liberal agenda that needed to be stopped by any means necessary. Gregory was arrested and taken in for questioning, but his response was chilling. He denied any involvement, but he had no solid alibi for the night of Jasmine's disappearance. His only statement was, "Sometimes things go too far. You can only push people so much before they snap." As the investigation continued, Jasmine supporters rallied together, raising funds for the search and gathering evidence. The social justice community, previously shaken by the attack on one of their own, found their voice once again, united in their grief and anger. The public outcry reached a boiling point. More people began speaking out against the tactics used by anti-activist groups. It became clear that Jasmine's disappearance wasn't just a random crime. It was a direct attack on the heart of the social justice movement itself. As the pressure mounted, Gregory Stone's facade began to crack. He began to use the He was facing overwhelming public and legal pressure. Just days before the trial was set to begin, Gregory made a shocking confession. He admitted to orchestrating Jasmine's abduction. But there was more. Jasmine had been held in a remote cabin in the woods, and she had been tortured for days before she managed to escape. Jasmine's bravery in escaping from her captors and returning to her community was nothing short of heroic. She was found alive, though severely traumatized. Her return became a symbol of resistance against those who sought to silence her and the movement she represented. Gregory Stone was charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, assault, and attempted murder. His trial was a public spectacle, one that shined a light on the dark forces trying to undermine the progress of social justice movements. The backlash that initially sought to silence activists like Jasmine was now turned on its head. Jasmine, despite her trauma, stood tall and spoke out in court, demanding justice not just for herself, but for the countless others who had suffered under the same hateful ideologies. Her voice was heard, and the movement grew stronger. The trial ended with a guilty verdict, and Gregory Stone was sentenced to life in prison. But for Jasmine, the victory wasn't just about the verdict. It was about the message it sent. The fight for justice cannot be stopped, no matter the cost. This story teaches us that social justice efforts, while often met with resistance and violence, are not only necessary, but vital to the progress of society. Jasmine's story is a testament to the resilience of those who fight for equality and the undeniable power of activism to create change. In the face of hatred and oppression, the courage to speak out will always be stronger than the forces that seek to silence us. Even when it feels like progress is stifled and opposition seems insurmountable, true justice will always find a way to rise. Jasmine's fight, and the bravery of those who stand alongside her, is proof that activism is not failing. It is evolving, and it will continue to shape the future. Be sure to share your opinions in the comments below. Do you think social justice movements are failing, or are they evolving in ways we don't always see? What's your take on the challenges activists face in today's world? If you're interested in learning more about social justice, activism, and how we can all contribute to creating meaningful change, be sure to check out my other video on the importance of standing up for what's right and making your voice heard. Let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.